channel. It's that busy time of year. I am working on 3 little golden book junk journals for Christmas, and I have one that is reserved and 2 available, and I'm still in the process of making them. I've had people ask me what my process is when I'm making my little golden books, and I thought I would jump on here and share a little information and give you some sneak peeks of what's been happening and what I have done so far. Usually I don't do a junk journal dangle. I usually keep them simple, and I thought this year it would be fun just to add things that I've been holding on to, and vintage items and new items. Like this was from an earring that I had, and it was a little too heavy. And this is new from Hobby Lobby. This I've been holding on, and I just filled them with fun stuff and left the tail on some of them in case whoever purchased them, if they wanted to add like a favorite charm or a favorite dangle that they like. So they are just full of fun little things: gingerbread, bells, buttons, and they're not all the same. This one has a Santa hat on it, buttons, little Tim Holtz charms, bells, and little thread holder. Just fun little candies, all kinds of fun stuff. And I really enjoyed making them. And wanted to share, like I said, my process. I usually do a 2-inch spine, and that's what these are. And I do 4 signatures that will go into them. So I have stacks of 4 signatures that are going to go into them. And I will include a list below of all the items that I tried to include in my Christmas junk journals, including recipes, ideal pages, and all kinds of fun things. My goal for these was to put my favorite paper and ephemera in these. I've been hoarding, this is October afternoon. I've been hoarding it, and I have tons of ephemera and all kinds of things that I've decided that I'm going to use in these. So this is from October afternoon. The numbers and the journals will come with the numbers. So in case you want to do a December daily out of it, you could put what day you're on in December. But let me show you a little bit, just a quick little flip through of things I added and done. This is a printable of mine that I have them out on my Ko-Fi, and I'll put the link below. I like it because it's interactive, and I just attached this phone thing with a brad, the phone dial. I miss those times, and thought that was neat. And then I found this card at Hobby Lobby, and I thought it was fun and that it went well with this page where the children are nestled in their beds and sugar plums danced above their heads. So I thought it would be fun to include that. What I do, the process is I will get all my signatures together, and then I flip through and trim paper that could be too tall. I look at the edges of the paper and decide what I would like to put on there. Example, trim, ribbons, and I put that through the sewing machine or glue it prior to putting my signatures in my journal. I discovered I had these wrinkled Santa napkins that I loved. And I'm like, how can I include that in my journal and them not be wrinkled? And usually I decoupage, but this time I used freezer paper. So I got freezer paper and used this with my 2 favorite Santas. And what I did is I lay it down on the iron and the ironing board. So I lay it down on the ironing board, the freezer paper, shiny side up. Then I put the napkin or whatever I want to apply to my freezer paper face up. And then I'll put parchment paper over the top. And these came out beautifully without any wrinkles. And it also reinforces them and makes them stronger so I could use them anywhere in my journal. But not one wrinkle in them. And they're super strong. And I could almost use them as pages. So I could fold it in half, and this could be a page, and that could be a page. I haven't decided for sure how I'm going to use all of them. This one I fussy cut and went ahead and clipped it in there, and I'm going to use that one that way. And I think, did I put, oh, and I put the other one on this side. So I wanted to use my favorite Santas and loved this look. Also, I discovered there was wrapping paper somewhere in these signatures. I will find it. And the wrapping paper was wrinkled, and it's vintage, and it was very fragile. So I didn't want it to tear. And so this is the vintage wrapping paper, and it was so thin and brittle. Like when I touched it, it felt like it was gonna fall apart. So what I did the same thing. I used the freezer paper and attached it to there by putting the freezer paper, like I said, face up, and put it on there. And this has made it so sturdy, and it still captures, you know, looks of wrinkles and stuff in it. So I still have the look I wanted, but it's reinforced. So freezer paper is great for that. And a tip that I do on my freezer paper box, I will put on there the directions so I remember how I do it. So I'll put like what I just shared with you, how I put my freezer paper, the shiny side up and stuff like that. So just put that right on your box. So when you go to grab that freezer paper, you don't have to look up a video on how to do it. You could just go ahead and do it. And oh, this is a vintage greeting card, and it didn't have this glitter on it, and I added it, and I love how that turned out. And so he's going to be a tuck spot in all my journals, and my 3 journals. And then I included some stationery to write Santa a little note. But, oh, if you can't, I'm going to pull them up closer so you can see them. I'm really happy with how he turned out. So like I said, I wanted to use a lot of my October afternoon ephemera and paper in these. And let me show you some things I've started to work on to embellish these journals. Oh, first I want to show you this one page, how I like how it came out. This is October afternoon, and I love that it's 2-sided. I really like how this came out. This is vellum that has like little snowflakes, and it's glittery. And I love how when you look through it, you could see the calendar behind it. Just sharing that idea. I worked on some clusters, and these are only October afternoon ephemera, along with the material that I used on the spine. So what I did was, first of all, I laid the material down, and then I just moved some of the ephemera around until I liked the spot that it was in. And I also backed the material just with some cardstock so I could use it as a pocket in my journals. So I put the material down, and then October afternoon has these great little journaling cards, and I put that down next, and then I just began layering and till I liked the way it looked. And so and then what I do is I take it apart, but first of all I take a picture of it so I don't forget how I had it, because I'm famous for, you know, laying it out and then I put it back together and it's not the way I wanted it. So that's just a tip and trick. Just take a picture and just layer it till you get the look that you wanted. And so this is another one that I did. It's the material and just layered everything. And then it came October afternoon. I had this flashcard, and I love that it has 25 on it for Christmas. And so that will go in that pocket. And again, I back the back of that with cardstock. And so here I was just messing around before I did the video, and I got the piece of material and then added the card. And then I thought to myself, okay, jingle. So found some bells, and then I had the star. And then I thought that was too much there, and I thought the bling could be too much. So then I added that 25, and then you just add something else. So till you get the look that you want, you just fiddle around with it. So I think that will be cute. Also, some other embellishments I've been working on, I'll show you. Oh, and then this one I started too. I have this wood chip that has, you know, a little deer, and I will layer that till I achieve the look that I like. I also found some paint chips, and I love at Walmart their paint chips and what they say. My cousin pointed it out to me. They have just really neat names. So this one says creamy hot cocoa, and so I embossed on top of it. This one was this full size, but I ended up just cutting that and embossed that snowflake on top of it. And then you could back it with cardstock or lined paper for journaling, and that's a great thing to throw in your junk journals. This one I did a little different. This one said Glidden on it, Glidden paint, and it was big. And so I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and cover that up with a wax seal. And I used a die and cut out the Christmas tree. So I kept the Christmas tree to use somewhere else, but cut it out and then layered this with that, with some tulle that looks like snow. So I layered it with that, and then I put some vellum. So you could layer it with all kinds of stuff, or you could just do a different color behind there. And then I just stitched across it. So just some ideas for when you're embellishing your junk journal and working on that. And so then I had the tree from there, and I just added it to this little, my checklist. And I like the simplicity of that one. So that's an idea. What I discovered when I was working on an Easter journal, and it was like a surprise. I didn't even mean to discover this. It was just funny. I had taken a bag and cut this part off. because I wanted to use this part, which is that's cut off. I wanted to use this part in my journal as 2 pages. So I wanted to put it within the signature so I would have tuck spots for, you know, a little embellishments and ephemera. And so I had cut this off, and then laying on the table was just one of these from the bottom of the bag. And I thought, oh, I could do something neat with that. And I ended up putting something in it that was Easter related, the Easter. So then I remembered that I did that then. And I thought, well, let me do some Christmas ones. And so I could use the whole entire bag in my journal. So this can be just glued down or attached with a paper clip to a page. But I just thought, how fun. Just like a little hidden spot. And so I did this other one too. I don't know if, oh, and put a different Santa in there. So that's a fun thing to do. Oh, and I wanted to show you the paint chips, different things they said. So that, I don't know if I mentioned earlier, these are from Walmart and it's from Glidden Paints. But that one says Pine Forest, Moss Point Green, Summer Sunset, Cinnamon Diamonds, Cinnamon Crunch. And then I thought, well, I'm going to save this one for Easter. This one says Thumper. How fun. Oatmeal Cookie, Heavy Cream, Dust Bunny, Rose Hip, Cottontail. How great would that be for Easter? So check out those paint chips. And sometimes it's just not the color. This one's Spice Cinnamon. It's not just the color that we could use in our journal. It's also what they say that are funny. Yeah. And so I don't know if I showed that that says Farm Fresh, which is great for the Christmas tree. Okay, let's see. Let me see, show you what else I've been working on. These, I believe, were from Dollar Tree last year, I believe. And they're like little ornaments or tags. And they were for a teacher. And they had a little pocket in the back to put a gift card in it. Well, I thought to myself, how can I utilize that? Because I don't really have a teacher that I need to give a gift to, because my children are old enough that they're not in school anymore. But I'm like, oh, well, let me cover that with maybe ho-ho, the coffee cup, happy holidays, and let me do something neat with that. So then what I did is I cut across so the lid can come on and off, and I attached, this is like from the back of my October afternoon ephemera pack. So I use almost all the paper. So I'm like, okay, let me stamp paper with lines so it could be notes, and it could be a hidden note in your journal. So then it tucks back in and it just looks like coffee. So then this was the next one I was going to work on and put ho 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 on it. And so this one, I just put my little note card in there, and I could just show you. I just cut across that. Just cut on the line. And then what I did is I outlined the cup itself and made this a little smaller so I know it would fit in. And then I glued that there. And I don't know, maybe they have them this year. Could even have been Dollar General. I glue that to there, and then I just tuck it in the pockets. And then you have a little hidden journaling spot in your journal. And you can cover it with whatever you want. Or you could also, some people have die cuts, which I do, that have the coffee mugs, and you could just make your own. Or you could find one in a magazine, or I don't know, all kinds of ideas. So anyhow, I just wanted to share that little tip and trick. Let me see what else I had to share with you. Also, I love KB and Friends. So I did some printables from KB and Friends, and I'm going to use these in my journals also. And so this one I'll probably turn into a shaker card and do some little tuck spots there. Another idea I have is I'm going to cut this page and make little slits, and they will go on a page in my journal, and there'll be tuck spots. And so I'll show you that probably in my next video of how I did that. What else? I think that's it for now. I do have this October afternoon page that I'm going to cut and make some tags and journaling spots and stitch around them, and I'll use that in these journals too. And I like that it's two-sided. So like I said, I'm using my October afternoon. They are not in business anymore, and that's why I've just held on to them, because I knew I couldn't find it anymore. But we never know what's going to happen tomorrow, so I'm going to start using my stuff. So please like and subscribe and come back to my channel, and we'll do some embellishing. And if you're interested in any of the like I said, I've made 3 of these journals that I'm working on. I'll have 2 that are available. You can email me and reserve one. So my email will be below. And you could check out my printables on my Ko-Fi page. All right, you have a great day. And I know it's a busy time of year, and I appreciate you hanging out with me, taking time.